Okay, welcome everybody back to Kira Yoga. So we've got sort of a yin and flow practice today with a little something new in the middle. And we're going to start seated today. So all we'll need is, if you want to have a wall at the start to lean on when you're seated and a wall at the end for the legs up the wall pose. Might want to adjust yourself, or you can use a chair or a couch or something as well. And also maybe a block or a rolled up towel under your shoulders towards the end to lie down on for a little bit of a back bend. Okay, settling down in a comfortable seated position. Taking some big deep breaths in and out. Maybe closing down the eyes. So we're going to do a different breathing practice today. It's called the bee breath. So when you're ready, just show you how it goes. I've been practicing this one for a yoga assignment in the last couple of weeks. So on the exhale, we're going to make a humming sound like a bee, like a noise as we exhale. So you can also start that with your mouth open as a ha sound. Ha, and then close your mouth. That'll turn into that sound. So if you just want to give that a little bit of a practice. I was going to say we're in our homes and no one else can hear us, but some of us are together. So it's fine. We're all doing the same thing anyway. So this will extend our exhale a little bit. So it's almost like our breathing practices when we sort of constrict our breath a little bit, I suppose. So if you're finding that a little bit tricky or it doesn't feel right, just come back to your natural breath. So we'll exhale normally where we are, and then we'll inhale through the nose like normal. Exhale, making our bee sound. Hopefully it doesn't sound too bad through the mic. I'm not even sure what I sound like right now. And then just starting inhaling and exhaling again. We'll do the bee sound a few times over. Inhaling, exhaling. Just go in your own time. You don't have to match me at all. Just go with your own breath. And once we've done a few rounds of that, we also practice this with our hands over our ears, but it does make the humming sound louder. So you can give that a go if you like. So you can rest your elbows on your knees, or you can just have your hands up in your ears. So exhaling where you are, we'll try that one just for one round to see. Inhaling, exhaling. And then you can take your hands over your ears and just continue. If you liked it with your hands over your ears, you can continue like that, or you can come back with it without. It's up to you. We'll just go for another few breaths. Just keep going in your own time. I won't keep humming in case it's too loud through the mic. Hopefully you're noticing in the exhale some sort of release or just a little bit of awareness of the body. I get a little bit of a tension release, I think, because I'm more in tune with my body through a longer exhale than if we simply just do a normal inhale and exhale, which is quite short. That's what I've noticed anyway. And we'll just take one more round, inhaling, exhaling. Just continuing your exhale. And just opening your eyes again if you had them closed. Awesome work. So we'll come into some neck rolls now, a little bit different again. So we're going to turn our head to the right. Our cheek's going to be sort of facing the floor. And then inhaling, coming up, looking to the left, exhaling. My right cheek is facing the floor this time. So we're doing a neck roll, but we're just doing a little bit of a different way than normal, stretching out some different muscles. If that feels a bit too much, just coming back to whatever neck roll suits you. It's kind of like we're looking down and over to our side, like we're peeking around the corner or something. And then we'll inhale up and we'll just turn our head doing like a no motion, but just very exaggerated. So looking all the way around to the left as far as the neck goes and around to the right as far as the neck goes. Going as slow or as fast as you like, matching with the breath, and then doing some yes motions, looking down to the ground and back up. Awesome work. So from our comfortable seat, we're just going to walk our hands forward, coming into a bit of a forward fold, coming as far as feels good. And the exhale, softening down. Seeing if after a little while you can walk the hands even further forward, seeing how that feels on the back and the shoulders and the neck. And then we're going to walk the hands over to the left. So making sure they're stretched out as far as they can go as we walk around, going as far left as possible, and then just reaching the right hand forward. So we're getting a stretch down the right side body and maybe down the lower back. Remembering to breathe, making sure our breath isn't restricted here. Taking a couple of breaths on this side. And then we're going to let our left hand come around to the left and our right hand is going to come up and over. So we're in that side stretch pose now. So either staying up on the hand or down onto the elbow. Looking up towards the ceiling if that's okay for the neck. Breathing here. And on the next exhale, bringing the right hand back down and walking the hands all the way around, nice and slowly, all the way around to the right. Stretching out that left hand, so we're getting that stretch down the left side, breathing here. And then bringing our right hand to our right side, inhaling that left hand up and over, looking up towards the ceiling. Breathing here. Exhaling back down, walking the hands forward in front of us. Inhaling and exhaling down. Breathing here for a couple of breaths. Dropping down the neck, reducing the strain in the neck here. And then walking the hands back all the way up. And we're coming into our dragonfly pose. So we're extending both of our legs out wide. As far as feels good. And then inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, folding down. So wide-legged forward fold. Be here for a couple of minutes. So we've got a few yin poses today. So we've got those long, extended stretches. And making sure you're in a position that is comfortable for a couple of minutes. Settling into stillness. Connecting to the breath. Noticing our inhales and our exhales. Maybe noticing that stretch, that sensation on the backs of the legs and our hamstrings. Now, after a while, you might notice you can come forward a little bit more. Just a few more breaths here. And then inhaling, walking back up. And we're going to come into our butterfly pose. So we're going to bring both of the soles of the feet together. Having the feet further away or closer to the body. Maybe shuffling forward, the elbows can go down onto the knees. If you like, helping them to come towards the mat on the floor. And just folding down, folding forward as far as feels good. We'll be here for a couple of minutes. And settling into stillness, noticing the breath. Dropping the neck down, the head down. Making sure our breathing isn't restricted anyway. And on our next inhale, just making our way back up again. So we're going to come into a bit of a balance pose now. This one's quite different to what we've done before. So we're just going to start out with a bit of preparation. So we're going to walk our feet out in front of us. We've got the A-frame position. So our feet are about hip width apart and our knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. So we're just going to grab behind the legs, and we can stay in any of these earlier positions. It's totally fine. Just find what works for you. So we're going to inhale our right leg up and we're leaning back a little bit. So we're balancing on our bum, but we've still got that left foot grounded for stability. And then right foot down, left foot up. Noticing how that feels. Is it feeling easy or hard? Are we feeling the ab muscles and the core working? Is it tricky to balance? And then we're going to put our right foot up, and we're going to see what happens when our left foot comes up too. Is that too tricky, or is that still easy? Just noticing. If you're really struggling, you can put hands down on the mat, bringing the feet up. That's more of a core workout for me anyway. Playing around with these different movements, finding one that feels good for you. If you want to keep going, you can see if you can reach for the foot or somewhere longer along the leg. See if you can straighten out one leg. You can bring the other foot back down while you practice. And then putting one foot down, practicing straightening out the other foot, noticing if there's much difference here. So if you want to try the full variation, probably guess that it's both legs straight out. So it's a balancing pose. So I always start grabbing my feet like this, and then bring one foot out, and then the other foot out. It's pretty fun. It's one of my favorite poses. Practice. So just keep practicing a little bit longer, seeing how you go. We'll come back to this a bit later as well. Warms us up pretty well. Gives us something different to do, using different muscles, working the brain, figuring out how we're going to balance. Couple more seconds. Exhaling out. Whew. Awesome work. So we're going to make our way onto our hands and knees, into our tabletop position. We're going to come into those slow cat-cows that we practiced last week. So just noticing your position, knees underneath hips, hands underneath shoulders, or if it's a bit too much on the wrists, hands can come out a bit further. So we're going to inhale, look up with the neck, and then we're going to push our belly down, belly button towards the ground, looking up. Exhale, we look down, belly button comes up towards the sky, rounding the back. Neck is straight, pushing away from the mat. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. If you want to go pretty slowly, you don't have to worry about matching your breath to your movement. You can take a couple of breaths in each pose. Just seeing how far we can go rather than normally we're going fairly fast. Maybe you just want to stay in one position, noticing how far you get in that one, how much you can round your back, how much you can arch your back. Breathing as we go. And then we're going to move into our circles. So we'll start with our belly button towards the floor, arching, and then rocking around to the side, just moving our belly, trying to keep the rest of our body straight. So just moving our belly and back. Rocking side to side slowly to make these little circles, going one way and then the other. Drawing the belly in at the top, pushing the belly out at the bottom. We'll do these targeted movements, really testing our brain as well, really concentrating. Then we're going to move into bigger circles. So we're going to engage all of our body now. So we're going to come out to the left, drop down, come up. And we can start to do sort of like a coming forward in that plank, and then bring our hips towards our feet, making big circles with our hips now, going one way, and then we'll swap to the other in a second. Stretching out in every direction, and then swapping, going the other way. So starting with our big circles. Imagine drawing huge circles with the hips, and then we'll slowly start making them smaller. Breathing as we go. Coming back, so we're moving less of our body, less of our hips, more of our belly and our back. Awesome work. Nice big inhale and exhale here in stillness. And then we're going to tuck our toes under, come into our downward dog. Pushing the hips up towards the sky, pedaling out the feet. Looking behind us through our legs. And then we're going to bring that right foot forward. So right knee behind, sorry, not foot, right knee behind our right hand. And then shuffling that left foot over. We're coming into that sleeping swan position. So my leg is about 45 degrees, so it's not straight in line with my upper leg. My lower leg. If that made sense. 45 degrees with that lower leg and foot. So it's sort of pointing towards my left hip. And then I'm just shuffling back so that my hips are coming down. My left leg is out straight behind me. Yeah, probably look a bit easier on the other side. So sitting the hips down, and then you can walk the hands forward if you like, or you can stay upright. Breathing here, fairly strong stretch through the hips and the groin. Remembering there's no pain in yoga, so coming out if you're getting any funny feelings or something doesn't feel right. Otherwise, breathing here. Just noticing the sensations about halfway through, probably a bit over halfway. Just noticing if you want to back out or if you want to come into the pose more. It's the last 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds now. Just a few more deep breaths left. Last breath in and exhaling out. So tucking that back left foot under, toes under. I sort of shuffle forward onto my hands and then shuffle that right foot back, sliding it back to meet the left leg. Maybe rocking side to side for a moment. And then pushing back to our downward dog. We're just going to do another pose before we go into our other side. So we're going to walk our feet forward, coming to the top of our mat, inhaling up to our forward fold. And then exhaling down, left hand comes down, coming into a spinal twist. So bending the knees, inhaling the right hand up towards the ceiling. Exhaling back down, right hand comes down, left hand comes up. Exhaling down, just dropping both hands down, wherever they fall. You can also grab opposite elbows, maybe rocking side to side. Breathing here. Exhaling, walking back to our downward dog. As we inhale and exhale. And then inhaling the left knee behind the left hand. Right foot comes across about 45 degrees. Sitting down. So when I put my hips down, my left foot is pretty much directly under my right hip. Shuffling that right leg back so it's comfortable, sitting the hips down. So we just don't want to sort of fall over to the left, so our left hip is on the ground and our right hip is up. We want to keep them level. You can prop something underneath that left hip if it's falling over to the side as well. Staying up on the hands or coming down onto the forearms. You can play around with your foot. It doesn't have to be in that direct spot. It can be more to the left or more to the right, whichever feels comfortable for you. Breathing here. Just a couple more breaths. Inhaling and exhaling, tucking the right toes under, shuffling out. Coming up for one last downward dog. And when you're ready, coming back down to our tabletop position, we're going to make our way into our puppy pose. We've got a little sort of optional extension, if you like. So sliding the hands forward, hips staying up in the air, bringing the forehead down to the ground. So if that's feeling okay for your shoulders and you want a little more, you can actually bring your hands off the ground and behind your head. And you can press the hands together if they come together, if the palms come together. So it's sort of like that prayer pose. So head comes all the way down and arms come up over the head, just optional if you want something extra. Just being mindful in the prayer pose. So that's usually like extending the shoulder stretch as well. So just being careful of your shoulders in that one. And breathing here, a couple more breaths. Final inhale and exhale. And then inhaling, coming back up to our tabletop position, coming into a spinal twist. So left hand comes down in the middle, right hand comes up. Exhaling down, right hand down, left hand up. Exhaling down. Breathing here. And we're going to come onto our bottom now to a seated position. Our legs are going to come out straight. And then we're going to bend up our left knee. And then you bring our right elbow around the knee. So I've got my right elbow on the left side of my knee. It's making me come into a spinal twist. I've got my left hand behind me. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, twisting, looking behind me if that feels okay. Breathing here. Exhaling out, swapping legs. So left leg straight, right leg bent. Left elbow on the right side of the knee. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, twisting, looking behind me. Let's come as far as feels good. And exhaling back down. So legs are out straight. We're coming into our caterpillar pose now. A couple more forward folds. So inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, folding forward, walking the hands out as far as you like. Resting the head down, reducing the strain on the neck. Breathing here. Just for a minute or so. Breathing here. Just noticing how we feel in our forward folds. From now and compared to the start of class. Just a few more breaths here. And on your next inhale, slowly making your way back up. I'm going to come into our butterfly pose next. So soles of the feet coming together. Inhaling and exhaling, folding down. Just bringing your feet as close or as far away from the body as you like. Playing around with how that feels. And as we fold forward, it will intensify the stretch as well. Just be here for a minute or so. Just a couple more breaths. And on our next inhale, making our way back up. Do not want to stretch out the legs. We're going to come into that balance pose again now. So doing our preparation, bringing our feet out wide, bringing one foot up and the other. So you can start from now if you like, doing the full stretch of the legs, noticing how that feels. Ring just going as far as you like. You don't have to do the full thing or anything near it if you don't like. And then maybe grabbing further down the leg, seeing how that feels, doing one leg and then the other, or start with both legs, noticing the balance, seeing if you can balance on your bottom. Maybe your feet just come centimetre off the ground. Maybe they come higher. Maybe you can reach your foot, or maybe you can reach along your leg, straightening out if you like. It's a pretty tricky one, so just taking your time. And it's meant to be fun. Breathing as we go, don't forget to breathe. Just a couple more breaths wherever you are. Noticing all the different muscles we're using. And exhaling down. Awesome work. Coming onto our backs. So we're going to start to wind down from that balance pose, keeping one leg on the floor, bending the other leg up. Sorry, straightening it out, I should say, towards the ceiling, and then lowering it down towards the floor. stretching it out long, maybe rolling the ankles, inhaling it back up towards the sky, and maybe bringing it out towards the side as far as feels good. Just giving everything a good stretch and bring it towards the face. Just popping it back down when it feels all stretched out. Doing the same with the other side. Left leg up, down towards the ground. Inhaling it back up. Bring it out towards the side. Back up towards the sky and down towards the face. Rolling the ankle. Breathing as we go. And then exhaling both feet down. Feet are about hip width apart and coming into our windscreen wiper motion. Stretching out that lower back. Breathing here. And we're going to come into our happy baby. So feet are coming parallel to the ceiling, either reaching for the outside of the feet or somewhere along the legs, the ankles or behind the knees. Maybe you like to rock side to side or staying in stillness. And exhaling, bringing the feet back down towards the mat. We're going to come into that little back bend position next. So just grabbing your block or your book or a rolled up towel, whichever prop you have, placing it in the middle of your mat, roughly where you think your shoulders are. And then just slowly lowering down, aiming up with the prop. So we're aiming to get the prop in between our shoulders. Takes a bit of wriggling around. You might want to soften it with a towel or a blanket if it's a bit pointy. Making sure our hips are still on the ground, protecting our lower back. Our shoulders should have enough room to slump over each side of the prop. And keep your legs up bent, or you can bring them out long, see how that feels. So this is just bringing our chest up higher, so we're getting a little mini back bend here because we've done a lot of forward folds today. So just hoping that the making sure that the prop is comfortable enough so that you can lean your body weight onto it, and you can soften down for a couple of minutes. Really slowing down now as we come to the end of our practice. Breathing here. Closing down the eyes if you haven't done so already, if that feels okay. And seeing if we can soften down on the exhale. Noticing if we're gripping anywhere, furrowing our brow or tensing our jaw, clenching anywhere. Making sure our head is supported by the mat or a prop. Just breathing here for another 30 seconds or so. And when we're ready, just bending up the knees, slowly rolling onto one side, rolling off the prop very carefully, and just removing your prop. Lying down on your back again. I'm just going to come into a spinal twist. So bring our left leg out long, our right knee in towards our chest, using our left hand guiding the right knee over towards the left. So right shoulder can come with it, and then we're just going to ease back, seeing how far that feels okay, seeing if our right shoulder is going to come all the way to the ground, and if our right knee is going to stay on the ground, that'll be the strongest variation. So if that's feeling too strong, we just bring the right shoulder back over so that we're not going into as much of a twist and we're more on our side. Bring your hands out into a T shape if you like. Just breathing here wherever you are. Just a couple more breaths on this side. Taking our final breath in. Exhaling. And then on our inhale, just starting to unravel, moving straight into our other side. So right leg's bent, right leg straight, left knee bends in towards the chest and comes over towards the right. So sort of starting on our side and then bringing our left arm out long. If our shoulder comes all the way onto the ground, otherwise finding a variation that works for you. Coming into a T shape, if that feels okay. Breathing here. Just a few more breaths. Taking our final breath in, exhaling, inhaling, starting to unravel. We're going to come into our Viparita Karani pose, which is legs up the wall pose. So if you've got a couch or a chair or a wall close by, just shuffling your bottom up towards it and then bringing your legs up the wall. And the hands down by the side or onto the belly. So you can have your legs out straight. Mine are about hip width apart, and I'm probably about a hand width. My hips are about a hand width away from the wall. So just play around with being closer or further to the wall, and you can also have your legs straight. You can have them wider, or you can have them bent in with soles together. Just playing around with what feels good for you and just settling down into stillness for a couple of minutes. Breathing, Rabuya. Softening down on the exhale. Closing your eyes if that feels okay. Just making sure we're warm as we move into stillness. This will be the last pose before rest. Just noticing the belly rise and fall with the inhale and exhale. Noticing the breath come in and out of the nostrils, of the mouth. It's taking an inhale and an exhale. Just going to make our way to our resting pose. So you might want to slowly walk your feet down towards the ground, coming to your side and just shuffling yourself away from the wall, coming back onto your mat, coming onto your back, feet are wide, hands down by the side. Or you might want to take rest on your side or belly, maybe a prop underneath your knees or under your head. Just making sure you're warm. We've got a few minutes here and settling down. Softening down on the exhale, letting our bodies be heavy. Noticing our head and shoulders become heavy on the mat. Our back and our hips and our buttocks become heavy on the mat. And the backs of the legs and the feet becoming heavy on the mat. Gently starting to get some movement in the fingers and the toes. Slowly starting to deepen the breath. Maybe starting to roll the wrists and the ankles. Bringing the hands up over the head for a full body stretch. Inhaling and exhaling, sighing out the mouth. And when you're ready, just rolling onto your preferred side, staying there for a couple of breaths. Thinking of something we're grateful for today. Be one thing or multiple things or a whole list. And when you're ready, just making your way up to a comfortable seated position. Thanking yourself for making the time to practice today. And thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you again soon.